Hey there, friends. Welcome to your weekly energy update. We've got a very interesting week ahead that both has sort of an internal alchemical, spiritual evolutionary bent to it, and then also more of the mundane, sort of aiming towards love, relationship, and the like. So I'm going to do my best to bring forward both of those particular themes. Let's jump right on in. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Got lots of cool things coming in the new year, including a foundations course that really sets people up if they're wanting to begin the process of deeper spiritual and self transformation work. I've got a beautiful course that's going to be coming up, really laying the groundwork to be able to do that kind of work. It's good for people that are just getting into this kind of work. It's also good for people that are maybe already in it and wanting to shore up some of their processes and look at things from a different perspective. I'll also have more advanced programs coming up later on in the year for people that have done a bit more work and are ready to really step into the deeper layers of integrative spiritual transformation. So, anyways, let's take a look here. Our first card for the week ahead is our Temperance card. Now, on the surface, the Temperance card can be seen as saying, hey, find the middle ground with how you're moving things forward this week, which means not too much activity, but also not too much rest. Balancing between your inner world, the imaginative world, and the actual actioning external world, the unconscious and the conscious. Now, on a slightly more esoteric level, this is a card of alchemy. There's all kinds of alchemical symbolism that's happening in this particular image. But what's speaking most loudly to me is this representation of the archetypal masculine and the archetypal feminine, represented by the two cups that are mixing together here, the left side and the right side, and the awakened quality that's represented by this sort of dot here at the third eye center. When the two hemispheres come into greater unity, when the left side and the right side, or the masculine and the feminine, start to merge together, is a representation of awakening or enlightenment. So there's something about finding your own healthy rhythm this week. Are you listening to the part of yourself that needs some rest, that needs to slow down, that wants to go inward and simply receive? Or are you also listening to the part of you that wants to move out, that wants to grow, expand, take action, tire itself out, find new frontiers, finding the natural rhythm for yourself? We live in a culture that is hyper solar. It's very active. There's an obsession with go, 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 move, 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 and less of an understanding of the rest side. So sometimes when what we are really needing and what our body or our emotions or our psyche, our soul is telling us is that we need rest, we're thinking, no, I have to keep moving. I can't rest until I one, two, three, four. Well, here in the Northern Hemisphere, we are in the darkest time of the year, which is a time of rest, inward turning, recuperation. One of the questions that you might ask is, do I trust that if I let myself rest, that the natural impulse to start to move again will arise? In other words, can I catch the wave as we sort of rest and digest? Do I trust that I'll catch the natural wave that says, now it's time to be creative, now it's time to take action? Or am I so worried about not being able to do what I need to do that I don't give myself the chance to really deepen in, to soften? There's a lot of pressure in this culture to go, 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 go. And as a result, the composting that's necessary for the plants to then bloom up again, they get enough nutrients and there's enough turnover that the next movement of energetic impulse forward doesn't have as much potency because there wasn't that deep resting period. We want to find our natural in-breath, out-breath, our natural movement, rest, our natural stillness and activity. So that's a big portion of this week ahead. If you give yourself the room to find that natural rhythm, and you really kind of have to find it yourself. This is why something like a meditative practice is so important, because you can still yourself enough that the ideas about what you should be doing can start to be seen through, and then you can attune with what it is that's naturally trying to happen in your system. If you can find that rhythm, I get the sense that you're going to get a little bit more room to see where it is that you're placing your value, where it is that you're placing your energy in your life right now, and there will be some clarity about what's ready to be walked away from and what's ready to get a new infusion of your attention and creativity and energy. So don't be surprised if you start to see or start to sort of contemplate the different things that are in your life and begin to see through the ways that maybe you've been fooling yourself, or maybe others have been fooling you about what should be getting your attention or where you should be putting your energy. There's going to be a little bit of a reorientation. The more that we synchronize with our natural inherent energy, the essential energy of who we are, it naturally starts to orient the things in our life. Oh, this used to feel very important to me, but now that I'm more sort of attuned with myself, this isn't as important. Oh, this is what really brings energy and clarity in my life. So that orienting principle inside of yourself that's really at the root of your soul and who you are, as that gets more clarified, it'll be really clear where to put your attention, where not to put your attention. So I'm saying this because your final card for this coming week is the Two of Cups, which is all about deep relational connection, feeling like there's good reciprocity in your relationships and in your life. This can be a symbol of new friendships, new romances, um, feeling like you're more attuned with the people that are meaningful in your life, whether those are children, co-workers, lovers, and then self. So these two cards are mirroring each other to some degree because of this masculine feminine element and finding that unifying principle. Similarly, from an internal or a self-alchemical process, we've got the masculine and the feminine meeting in a certain state of equanimity and unity, which produces a creative impulse. This red line is a alchemical symbol for that sort of creative, fiery movement within ourselves. So the bringing together of the part of us that wants to take action, which is symbolic of the yang principle or the masculine principle, and the piece that is more as absorbing or receptive, which is in this case represented by the feminine principle here. When those two are finding balance, then our creative activity comes forward. Then this sort of the eros, the movement that actually sort of catalyzes a creative life, an inspired life can come forward. So on the one hand, on the more mundane level, this could be a week where you're sort of finding your rhythm again. You've got time to sort of contemplate, and it gives you access to deeper connections with the people in your life. And then on sort of the subtle level, the more sort of subtle realm, this is a week that you could begin to see some inner alchemy starting to happen. You may have heard me talk about like minor conjunctios, which are like little awakenings, or soul infusions, where we get like a healthy download of information about ourselves. It can often come with an element of bliss, or insights into ourselves or insights into our life. So these are things that you might begin to notice in the week ahead. I'm excited for you. I think it's going to be interesting. Let me know what happens. I'm very curious. This feels like a pretty healthy balancing, particularly if you give yourself that room to rest, digest, not listening to the part that is saying, oh, you should be, you ought to be, you need to be, but listening to the deeper part of yourself that has a good sense of what's needed next. So thanks for tuning in with me as always, and I look forward to connecting again soon. Take good care.